Time now for Backpages Tonight here on Sky Sports News, bringing you a first look at the sports stories in the morning's newspapers. Joining us on the show are the Daily Mirror's chief sports writer Andy Dunn and the Sun's chief sports writer Dave Kidd, both from Paris, where they're covering the Olympic Games. Welcome to you both. OK, let's quickly run through the back pages. The Guardian leads with the image of Noah Lyles leaving the Stade de France track in a wheelchair. COVID, 19.70 seconds. Lyle takes bronze in 200 metres with virus. And the lead on the back page of the Daily Mail, it's all right on the kite for Ellie and Day of Destiny. KJT's dream alive after superb start. They also carry the quotes from Jade Jones. I'm no drugs cheat, says Beaton Jones, after she crashed out of the taekwondo in the first round in Paris. The Express lead with high flyer Golden Girl Aldridge is on the crest of a wave for Britain, and COVID hit Lyles collapses. And on the inside pages of the Telegraph sports section, how Mikel Arteta used pickpockets on his team to demonstrate the importance of remaining alert at all times. Let's start with Noah Lyles, who was denied a sprint double at Paris 2024. Botswana's Letziel Tobogo claimed a surprise Olympic 200 metres gold medal. Lyles was firm favourite to add the 200 metres gold to his 100 metres title, but he finished third. And USA Track and Field confirmed he tested positive for COVID 2 days before the 200 metre final, but still chose to compete. OK. Andy, you were there. Let's start with the Guardian headline then. COVID, 19.70 seconds. Lyle takes bronze in 200 metres with virus. What did you make of it all, and what was the reaction like inside the Stade de France?
Well, it was incredible drama, really. That image you see of Lyles in the wheelchair, he crossed the line, and let's not forget that there was a fantastic winner in Letziel Tobogo with a fantastic, actually tragic backstory, but very heartwarming victory for him. So let's not forget that. But Lyles crossed the line and then immediately collapsed into sort of alongside the hoardings. He was attended to by medics, put into a chair and wheeled away from the track. He did appear later to speak to us in the mixed zone after, in a mask, and he confirmed, as well as Team USA confirming, that he felt ill on Monday night, and he tested positive at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning. They put him into a hotel to quarantine and give him a legal amount of drugs to keep his body going. So he had COVID during the heats and semi-finals for the 200 metres, which might explain why he was beaten by Tobogo in the semi-finals as well. But he said, I was determined to run regardless. He said that he was probably 90 to 95% fit, and he was proud of claiming that bronze with that time that you've seen on the front of the Telegraph there, 19.7, which is, I think, off the top of my head, round about 3.5, a bit more, 0.3 of a second outside his personal best. So that did explain a lot, and very dramatic to see now whether he'll take part in the relays. He said he was very proud of his bronze. So it was an unbelievable, more drama. There's drama every night at the track, drama every day here, and that just another chapter of it. As I said, though, let's not forget that Letziel Tobogo won this gold medal 3 months, I think just less than 3 months, after his mother tragically passed away at the age in mid-40s. He wore the initials of his mother on his spikes. He ran an African record, 19.46, the quickest that any African's ever run. He's the first Botswanan to ever win a gold medal, the first African to win at 200 metres. That's a fantastic story. But yes, Lyles, of course, with him being the big name, will dominate a lot of the headlines. But let's not forget that great run from Letziel Tobogo. Only 21 a couple of months ago.
Yeah, absolutely incredible race from him. But Dave, back to Noah Lyles. Morally speaking, what do you think? Should he have been competing? Because after the race, he was hugging athletes that are supposed to be racing in the relays. Where do you stand on this?
Yeah, it's interesting with COVID now. Obviously, we haven't got the same sort of things about quarantine as we had, the height of the pandemic or anything like that. And there's been a lot of it going about, I think, in the press room as well. And I think you're supposed to sort of treat it more like a a normal everyday cold these days. So there's no, he's not, expected necessarily to quarantine, but it does still seem surprising, to have COVID and to feel even that you might be fit enough to compete in a 200-meter final, which, in some ways he is right to be proud of it. There's probably other competitors there who might not be so happy that he's done so, if they're now going to be affected, if they might catch it from him. Lyles is always very keen to be centre of attention. I think we enjoyed some of his words before and after the 100 metres. We were both at, myself and Andy, on Sunday night. He loves the limelight, this guy. And I think it would have taken an awful lot more, probably, than COVID to keep him away from a 200-metre final and some another appearance on the podium.
OK, right, then let's move on now and speak about Britain's Ellie Aldridge, who became the first Olympic gold medalist in kitesurfing with a brilliant performance in Marseille on Thursday. We can take you to the back page of the Daily Mail here, saying it's all right on the kite for Ellie. Incredible, because she actually only took up kitesurfing 5 years ago. What a huge achievement this is, Andy.
A huge achievement, and much needed for the sailing team. Much needed for sailing. In fact, that regatta down off the south coast of France has been beset by problems. Mother Nature's problems, not enough wind, basically. Which is essential when you're sailing. But I like the way she talked about. She did something different in the final. She chose a different model of kitesurfing, a different number, and went out on her own in a way and won both races and won gold, which is great. I like the fact that it brings back a bit more focus on the sailing. I remember my early Olympic coverage. A lot of it was dominated by sailing. The days of Ben Ainsley, of course, led the way. He was a sort of trailblazer of the modern era of British sailing, and this gives it the boost that they so dearly wanted. And it's sort of, because it's been stop-start, the focus has not been on it. It's been actually a little bit almost easy to forget that it's been taking place. But this now puts it back in the limelight and puts athletes like Ellie back in the limelight. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant to watch. They're going twice as fast as the wind, Dave, and it does put it on the map around the world, doesn't it? Surely everyone's going to want to give kite surfing a go now. I certainly do.
Absolutely. There's so many of these Olympic sports that you may never have seen before, or you only ever see them once every 4 years. And you're always, it always hits you quite how fun they look. When they talk about inspiring a generation, which was, I think, the slogan back in London 2012. Watching the kite surfers go today must inspire a lot of kids who want to take that up. I think I'm going to watch breaking, which older people know as break dancing, tomorrow, make its Olympic debut. I'm sure it's going to be quite good fun as well, whether or not it's a sport. It was a great spectacle just watching Ellie's success there, and there's so many sports. There's 32 different sports, so many of them pretty obscure and great fun. We've watched the skateboarding. I was watching some of the sport climbing yesterday, and that is the great thing about the Olympics. We obsess about football, and it's the great national game. But how wonderful it is to have this fortnight or so of watching these weird and wonderful sports.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, moving on to Jade Jones, her dream of a third Olympic gold medal was shattered when she lost her first taekwondo bout at Paris. But afterwards, she discussed the mental pressures she faced and denied ever taking drugs. Dave, you were there watching the taekwondo today. The Daily Mail has a quote from her saying, "I'm no drugs cheat." What have you made of it all?
Yeah, it was interesting because Jade had this temporary ban overturned a couple of months ago. It was all kept shrouded in secrecy for legal reasons and medical reasons, and she hadn't spoken about the fact that she had refused this drugs test in December last year in a hotel in Manchester before a competition. She claimed she was severely dehydrated. That was part of her attempts to make the weight for that particular competition, and it was interesting that she hadn't spoken before. We weren't actually sure whether she would come out and address the media, particularly having been beaten in the very first round today. She's a double Olympic champion as well, as we know, Jade. And this was probably her last certainly her last Olympic appearance. But she did come out and speak. I think that was the right thing for her to do. To me, it sounded pretty convincing. But these kind of issues, I think, if a foreign competitor's up against a Brit, we tend to look at it with scepticism. So it's right that we are sceptical. But Jade's said that she had medical reasons why she didn't take the test at that point. She basically was unable to do a urine test because she said she hadn't drank anything for 48 hours, which in itself is extraordinary and apparently is a regular part of her routine to make the weight for events, which in itself, to me sounds dangerous. But I think the fact she came and fronted up is probably good for her in terms of any of her future endeavours, whatever she goes into next. And she's done a fair bit of TV work and stuff like that. Because when something like that happens, even though she's been cleared, there are always going to be questions asked.
Andy, heartbreak for her, second Olympics in a row now. She said there was so much pressure on her going into it, hugely disappointing for her. But I guess the Olympics is about handling that pressure, isn't it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, everywhere we look, there are stories of athletes, who have near misses, athletes who respond to the pressure, athletes, you can only ask that you can. At the Olympics, it's funny, I was talking the other day with someone about whether or not it's all about winning, and it's all about coming here and actually producing your best under pressure. And getting here itself is an achievement. We shouldn't forget that winning comes in different forms of Olympic Games. Winning can just be being here. Winning can be getting through your heats to a final. Winning can be representing your country. Winning can be making your family and your friends proud. It doesn't have to mean a gold medal, a silver medal, or a bronze medal. So I guess, sometimes we need to just maybe not put as much emphasis on the actual outcome of events, as we tend to do, most in the intervening 4 years for all the other sports will do that. I think here, you've sometimes got to cut people a little bit of slack. It's intense pressure, and sometimes just being here is an achievement in itself. Wearing your country's colours is just an achievement in itself.
Yeah, right. Speaking of pressure, Team GB's Katarina Johnson-Thompson leads the heptathlon after 4 events in her pursuit of her first Olympic medal. Andy, you were at the track and field at Stade de France this evening. The Mail saying day of destiny, KJT's dream alive after a superb start. She leads Tiam by 48 points. Going into tomorrow, she's got long jump, javelin and the 800 metres. Should she be feeling confident, do you think?
I think she'd be feeling, you know what, again, she came and spoke to us and she's absolutely relishing the challenge tomorrow. She knows it's a big challenge. It's fascinating, the heptathlon. KJT crossed the line in the 200 metres, the last event of today, and she was disappointed because she ran a time, I think it was 23.46, significantly down on her personal best. So she doesn't score as many points, even though it took her to the top of the standings. She wants to do her best in every event. That's the way you win the heptathlon. Don't forget, she had a personal best shot put, her weakest event, and she smashed her personal best in that. She did well in the high jump, well in the 110 metres hurdle. So it was a great day for her, and she wanted to top it off with turning the screw, really. Tiam's one of the weaker events, the 200, and she didn't quite do it. But then she came in, she says, right, I can't be disappointed with that. I'm going to be up bright and early. I'm still in the lead. And, bear in mind what happened to KJT in Tokyo when injury in actually the race I saw this evening, the 200 metres, ruled it out of that, of trying to win a medal there. She desperately wants it. And she's got a look in her eye at the moment that she's going to go out there tomorrow. She's going to give it all. Tiam is still the favourite. She would still be the favourite with those 3 events left. But don't rule out. She's a very, very focused, determined girl, Katarina Johnson-Thompson. And I'm looking forward to her immensely tomorrow.
Yeah, huge day for her tomorrow. OK, it's time now for a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at more of the back pages, including this in the Mirror. 10 hit for 6. Manchester United been hit by yet another injury crisis. More on that next. You're watching Back Pages tonight. Welcome back to Daily Mirror's chief sports writer Andy Dunn and The Sun's chief sports writer Dave Kidd. Let's go to the Mirror and we start with Manchester United. 10 hit for 6. Manchester United hit by yet another injury crisis before the season has even started. Andy, how much of a concern is this for Erik ten Hag, and does he need to sign some players soon?
Yeah, I thought a lot of us were thinking when they did that early business with Euro and with Xerxes that, they'd actually made a bit of a statement. The early business, of course, included getting the people in, the executives finally in, with Dan Ashworth in place, Ruud van Nistelrooy coming over, Jason Woodcock, of course, was already in place, and the chief executive, Omar Barad. And it looked like they had got all their ducks in a row, and then were going out and signed a couple of players early on. Saw Mason Greenwood, and it looked like they meant business. But of course, Euro immediately got injured and out for 6 months. And it was a familiar pattern. It was like United fans looking at those pictures of him on crutches, going, oh no, not again. So what they want to see, is more momentum in the transfer market. Now, Ten Hag was speaking today about it, that you've got to be patient. I always find that when a manager tells fans they've got to be patient, that means, listen, we're getting nowhere fast, actually, with our latest targets. There's no doubt about it that one or two signings aren't going to make a difference, aren't going to make a significant difference. Such was their level last season. Don't be fooled by that FA Cup final win. Their level in the Premier League was way below the standard that is needed to actually compete at the very top. So they need far more reinforcements. And at the moment, they need them with that continuing injury crisis. The injury things, is something that the club has to look at, something over the last 2 or 3 seasons. It's not just a recent thing. They've suffered with injuries for a long time. And that is also one thing that they can't overlook. And I'm sure the new regime headed up by Sir Dave Brailsford will be looking at that aspect as well. That's the sort of thing that a performance director of his ilk, that's the sort of thing that he'll be looking at, saying, listen, players are only good to us if they're fit and ready to play and at 100%. And that'll be right on the top of his to-do list. But yes, they need to do some more business, and they need to do before long.
Yeah, they absolutely do. Dave, in the Star it says emergency ward 10. Eric handed hospital pass ahead of the new season, saying Harry Maguire, Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Luke Shaw, all doubtful ahead of the Community Shield game. In the Eye, it says Ten Hag, we want Wembley win, but big risks are out. So he's not going to risk these players if they're not fit in this game against Manchester City, although he wants to win it. Just how difficult a situation is this for Ten Hag?
Yeah, I mean, it's deja vu all over again, as they say in France over here. It's extraordinary. The same names as well. Those defenders. It was in defence in particular. They suffered from injuries last year. Shaw, Lindelof, Maguire, all these guys out last season. They're all part of this new injury list. And obviously Euro, the new signing, who looks a good player. We've heard a lot of good things about him. Only a teenager, but he was expected to start the new season in the starting lineup, and he's out for a long while now. I do think I agree with Andy about today, Brailsford. I mean, you talk about marginal gains. You cannot, that was his ethos when he was in charge of British cycling. You can't just assume it's bad luck. I mean, he will not be assuming it's bad luck. He will not be thinking it's bad luck at all that the United have been stricken with so many injuries over the last few seasons. I think Ten Hag got a new contract on the basis of one result. He was going to be sacked, I think, if they'd lost to Manchester City in the FA Cup final. It was a trophy, and United are all about winning trophies. That one result made them change their mind. And Ten Hag has always said, "Give me anywhere near a fully fit squad, and you'll see what I can do." He's not going to get a chance. We're not going to get a chance to answer that question because they're back in exactly the same situation as they were for most of last season, with a real crisis in injuries. And yeah, even though it's the first time United have even been in a Charity Shield, I think for Community Shield for 8 years, he's not going to want to risk players who are half fit with the Premier League season starting for United next Friday night against Fulham.
Right, before we move on to Arsenal, just quickly, Andy, on the game itself, obviously not the most important trophy up for grabs during the season, but a really good way to start the season if they were to win it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They saw the FA Cup final win over Manchester City as most of us saw it not as a freak result, but as a very surprising result. United saw it in a very, very positive light, obviously. As though it might have been some sort of statement that they could compete with City. But they need to make that statement again. They obviously need to make it in the Premier League, but it would do them no harm at all to beat City again. I don't think they will. I think, judging by pre-season and judging by the shape City are in and United seems to be at the moment, I don't think they will. But yes, the United will be taking it seriously. I know you say it's not highest priority, but it is a trophy, you know, and I'd like to see some of its shine restored, and maybe these two teams can do that for us.
OK, just finally, how about this story from Sam Dean in The Telegraph then? Mikel Arteta secretly employed a team of pickpockets to steal from his Arsenal players during a team dinner in an exercise designed to demonstrate the importance of remaining alert at all times. We know the Arsenal manager is well known for his use of alternative methods, including props and mind games to motivate, inspire and relax players. But Dave, it certainly wasn't something I thought I'd be reading when I came into work today.
No, we know there is. It's a bit David Brent, and I think Arteta's got a bit of a history for this. I think we saw on the Arsenal documentary a couple of years ago a few weird and wonderful motivational speeches. The idea that you've got to be alert at all times. Have you really got to be that alert when you're having dinner with your mates and your colleagues? So that you get a bit of downtime. I'm not quite sure how trying to check your pockets all the time at dinner is going to help you not getting your metaphorical pocket picked during a Premier League match if you're a defender or something like that. I'm afraid he's lost me on this one, and it's not the first time I've said that when I've seen about Arteta's motivational tactics.
Yeah, Andy, just quickly, what do you make of it? In the Mirror, artful dodgers, madcap Mikel hires pickpockets to steal from his players. Stay alert. Is this going to help them win the Premier League?
No, I'll tell you what I make of it. I remember one of his other unusual techniques. He played "You'll Never Walk Alone" in speakers on the training ground to get Arsenal used to the atmosphere they're going to face at Anfield. That's Saturday coming. They got beat 4-0. I'll leave it there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much to you both. Thank you for coming on. Bonne nuit. OK, if you've missed any of the show, there's another chance to see Backpages Tonight at 1:30 the hour. And the show is also available as a podcast. You can just download Backpages on Apple, Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can join us on Friday night when our guests will be Jonathan Liu and Heather Dewar.